Hi, everybody. My name is Dahlia Bernstein, and I'm doing the third of fears that I have. I think the first one was fear of being alone, and now I am doing fear that I'm not doing enough. And I thought that this might speak to people. This is something that coaching helps people identify how fear is holding them back from doing the things that are most important to them, and that being one of the roadblocks. So, not doing enough. So, I want to just kind of put out there exactly what not doing enough sounds like in our heads. So, it sounds like things when you feel like, oh, I'm so lazy, like I should be doing more. When you should all over yourself. I said should. Let's just be clear. I said should. So I could be doing more. I should be, especially in quarantine, we say this to ourselves. I should be cleaning out my closets. I should be organizing my pantry, learning a language, all this stuff. I should be doing more. What I'm doing is not enough. And at least for me, that message, it's not so even clear. It's like a panic, a very strong panic that I feel right here. I feel right here. Um, and it drives me nuts. It drives me nuts because it means that I am constantly going and going. And I say to myself, I'll be happy, I'll feel better when I get it done. And then there's always another thing to get done. So fear of not doing enough. And that is linked to fear of not being enough. That I am not enough, so that I need to continue to do more so that I can prove to everybody else how worthy I am, how worthwhile, how you want to have me around. Look how much I do. Doing then becomes our worth. Um, and and let's just kind of go back a little bit because in some ways, it comes from those places, but it also comes from another place and the benefits of having that at the same time, which is it motivates you. And it can motivate you to get things done. And that has its time and its place. Um, Especially when you're working on a project and you have a deadline, and it's really helpful. But there's another aspect to this, which is that you're putting off your happiness until you accomplish something. And you can feel that maybe for a day or two. But then something happens, that hollowness comes back. You're saying, "Oh, I'll finally be happy. I'll finally be able to relax." But it doesn't stay. Um, I remember this happened to me on a number of occasions. Usually, actually, some of the small things. I'll be happy when I get my furniture built, and I do it myself, and I feel productive, and the feeling productive feels great, and then it goes away. um, so, when I look at it in some ways it comes from this gremlin. We all have these little gremlins that tell us things, that are this voice in our head. And my gremlin, what does he do? By the way, he's a little blue monster who smiles at me, but then takes things at the same time. My gremlin eats my accomplishments so that I have a little bit of amnesia about what I've accomplished. And when I talk about this with other people, when I talk about this with my coach will hold up to me that it's as if I'm blind to what I've already done. And I haven't taken any time to savor it. And so I keep on wanting to do more because I'm not feeling the benefits. So that's one piece. That's one piece that, I'm not savoring my accomplishments. I'm not feeling it. And another piece is that I want to make the most of my life. And, there's a fear of wasting my time. And again, in some ways that can motivate me. And in some ways it keeps me from feeling happiness right now. A little bit of peace and quiet right now. And so once we see that, once we can notice that pattern, and right, that's what coaching helps us see. It helps us see patterns inside of us. We think that we want to do one thing, we have this big goal, and the goal is supposed to lead to a feeling, and then we realize that the feeling doesn't last. And so maybe there's actually a deeper goal behind that top goal. It doesn't mean we let go of that top goal. But we do want to become more aware of ourselves and of our patterns. So, so the question that we might ask ourselves when we find ourselves getting into that not doing enough, I'm not accomplishing enough, I could always be doing more, is how can I be satisfied? This question, how can I be satisfied right now? What would it take for me to be satisfied right freaking now? And even just asking myself that question, I can feel my body, I can feel the back of my head start to relax a little bit. That panic fades away. And part of that answer for me, and I can feel myself getting emotional. Part of that answer is to love myself, to treat myself well, and to take a moment to kind of notice what I'm happy with right now. And it doesn't mean that I will not be accomplishing anything later on. What it does mean is that I'm going to be approaching it with more balance, and I'll be a happier person the way I show up in my relationships in other parts of my life. How can I be satisfied right now? How am I just enough? There's one of my favorite quotes is, don't just do something, stand there, right? Don't just do something, stand there. So instead of rushing from place to place, trying to get everything done, get as much done as possible in one fell swoop, just to sit here and to sit with that satisfaction of right now. So thank you, everyone. If you want to learn more, if you are interested in a coach, please come and find me. It's DahliaBernstein.com. Take care.